Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Defeated Orc, giving you a commentary about what to do when everything goes wrong in one of your ranked games. This is a ranked game of mine. I was in a pretty bad spot when I was playing it. I had just lost these are my placements. I just lost 4 placements in a row, and that was due to 1 feeder, 2 AFKs, and something else. So this is game number like 8 or something, and this is another game where like everything goes wrong, including my play. That's our Jungle Jax that just died. He should have been a lot more careful. I mean, it's Lee Sin into Jax. I told him that in Champ Select. And yeah, he didn't ward or pull or anything, and he got killed. Originally, I was going to talk about my laning phase, but it's not that spectacular because of how everything went wrong. What I'm trying to do is push the lane in before Lee might gank, before he gets his double buffs, but that's not really going to work out because I'm going to get roamed on constantly from top lane. Their support comes up 1 or 2 times, and I get ganked a bunch. So what I end up doing is reverting to just a wave clear farm kind of laning posture. Alright, so a few things I want to talk about. I go teleport, which I've since learned is not the best idea. I used to do it because in low elos, for last season, towards the end of the season, it worked for me. It would let me roam when I needed to roam. But honestly, it's not working as good as it used to, and I just would have been so much better off with Barrier. Basically, I've learned to not trust this elo, and this elo is low silver / bronze. Here I do a terrible teleport and I die. But honestly, if I'd gone Barrier, I would have died like 4 less times. So yeah, if you're playing Vel'Koz in low silver or even gold or bronze, go Flash Barrier. It's better. And I recommend Vel'Koz for those elos as long as you know how to play him, which I'll get into in a bit. So I was kind of in a bit of a mood with this game because this was looking like it was going to become my 5th loss in a row in placements, and so I was pretty pissed. So I ended up doing the Doran's build, which is a build you do when you're not getting any money, you're losing lane, but you want to regenerate mana. It's basically the desperation build, and I gotta say, it's amazing on Vel'Koz, which is another one of his strengths. I believe that's because he has high base mana regen. A little bit about me. I'm a platinum level top lane player, and I played a lot of Tryndamere, but now Riot's turned the top lane into a range fest, and Tryndamere's basically a pure melee top laner, and sadly, there's no room for him in top lane anymore. And right now, I've reverted to pushing the lane in, which is a good call, except for the fact that here's the first of many roams. I'm gonna die here. I run for a while, Jax kind of makes an attempt to help me, but not really, and then I die. Right here. And of course, Lissandra right now in top lane, which she's another champion that keeps you from playing Tryndamere in top, at least once you get to gold. But she should be pushing the lane into the enemy turret, and she's obviously not even aware that the Aurelia had roamed out of top. And, like, yeah, Aurelia just went top lane, and she's gonna get, like, so much CS. Like, there must be 15 to 20 minions in top lane right now that Aurelia is farming. And, yeah, Aurelia just suffered no penalties for roaming, and she should have lost at least lost 2 waves of CS. So luckily I make it back to collect the CS. That's a nice little technique I just used right there, 1W, 1E. It farms quite well. I literally learned of that combo right there. I've been using it ever since. But yeah, it's hard to play Tryndamere in the top lane these days. Because there's so many. It's not just, it's like, it used to be that you had to worry about Quinn top and Teemo top, and Malphite to a lesser extent. And everybody knows about Teemo to counter Tryndamere. And for a while, people didn't know about Quinn, and us Tryndamere mains didn't tell anybody about her. And of course there was Malphite. That's like everybody knows that for some reason, and now it actually works in Season 6, because he can do the Grasp of the Undying, Keystone Mastery, and that thing is really good. Lee made a mistake here. He won't make too many. We're going to chase him for an eternity. He's going to pop a lot of flashes. Not my flash, but he got Jax's right there. And yeah, we kind of wasted time chasing him. But yeah, these days I play Rumble when I play top and not Tryndamere, and I win. Honestly, it's just so much easier to play anybody but Tryndamere top lane. I don't know how players like Vox or Pete do it. But yeah, so I didn't suffer any penalty for that roam I just did, and that's not unusual at this elo. Alright, here I die. Clearing... Yeah, like, there's another Aurelia roam. Honestly, she shouldn't have gotten away with that. It was really good timing on her part. And still, I almost killed the Brand. If it was just me versus Brand, I would have destroyed this laning phase. And actually, like, the key part of this game is that I had no jungle, basically. Jax was a bad jungler. And I also had a bad top laner. Okay, like, look, Aurelia just roamed on me, and look at how much CS is up top. That's like 20 CS again. It's a lot. I'm not going to teleport to this. No, I'm not. Oh, right here, Jhin is going to flash and heal, and then he's going to flash heal right into the enemy Jinx. So it's like, the lesson to be learned here is that if you're going to die and you know it, just accept it. And you'll have your flash and your heal for another day. So... Oh yeah, okay, so... And don't let that play from the Jhin, like, make you think badly of him, considering he's playing a new champion and everything. His play was spectacular. Me and him carried this game really hard. So anyway, I haven't talked about how I'm actually going to carry this game. Basically, I played to Vel'Koz's strengths, and I never give up. Okay, between now, this blue buff, and the next one, in 5 minutes the next blue buff will appear, and then 4 minutes after that, Jax will realize that it's up, and he'll give it to me. And of course there's that really weird Q that just went through the enemies. So anyway, back to Vel'Koz's strengths. Vel'Koz is basically a champion that wherever Vel'Koz is at, it's really hard for the enemies to get to, and he can project his strengths around objectives, like Baron and Dragon Pit. So, if you're going for Baron, he can do a lot of damage to you as you do it, and maybe even steal Baron. But that's not going to happen this game, and actually that's why the enemy team loses this game, because they could have won if they had gotten Baron and pushed us, but they didn't get Baron. They just, like, messed around in our jungle and wasted their advantage. So this is nothing unusual, this is just a bunch of dudes coming for me. I might or might not live. I die a lot. And pretty soon I'm going to skip the rest of the laning phase. So yeah, basically 1 Q's length away from Vel'Koz is the area where he can poke people down from, because that's how far his poke goes. And another strength of his is that I die here because I'm going for a ward. That's the last time I die, going for a pink ward though. But I get the 3 Doran's rings here, and that's really good because he has high base mana regen. And another way you could play this is you don't get Doran's rings and you get an Athene's Unholy Grail, you rush it, and then even if you're playing just defensively still, it's going to be hell for your lane opponent, because your spells have a way of going through things and hitting where they need to hit, and just being really annoying to dodge. Kind of like TF, but a little better if you ask me. But anyway, those are Vel'Koz's strengths. Now what I just did right there was I pushed into turret to punish the brand for roaming, and in a minute that'll get me Brand's turret, because I don't know what he's doing, but he's leaving lane a lot. And so yeah, Brand's turret is about to go down. And yeah, the last strength of Vel'Koz is that with 2 items he can do so much damage. You get a Luden's Echo, you get a Liandry's Torment, and then that's a power spike for you. You honestly can win games with just those 2 items. Like, let's say you get to 40 minutes and you only have those 2 items. You can win the game with just that. Everything else is gravy. And so yeah, I finally get an item. And for Vel'Koz, I recommend getting cooldown reduction boots. I think they're called the Ionian boots. I just call them CDR boots. That's always a great buy for Vel'Koz. And in this game, you'll notice I've got the mastery that gives me gold when I miss a CS or when somebody's CS is nearby me. That's great if you're playing support Vel'Koz, but if you're playing... I die here. If you're playing mid lane Vel'Koz, go for the mastery that increases your CDR. CDR is the best thing you could possibly get on Vel'Koz. The more ultimates you have, the better. The more Ws you have, the better. You can't go wrong with CDR. And I'm about to get the blue buff. That buff was up for 4 minutes and 16 seconds. I clocked it. And one more quick note about Vel'Koz item building. If you're doing really good, go Luden's Echo first, because with Luden's Echo, when you fully charge it, 1 W will clear pretty much the entire wave. At the very least, it'll kill the ranged minions in 1 hit. And so you could, with good auto attacking and a W, you can clear the entire wave. Okay, so here's where the 4-man siege of mid lane begins, and we win this. All I do is wave clear and poke people down. There's the 4 people. Look at me, I'm surrounded. I've got minimal backup for the beginning of it, but I play to my strengths. I hold my ground. I'm Vel'Koz. I wave clear. I get pokes in when I can, and we prevail. Lee messes up right there, and they abandon the siege. And let me talk about the Jinx for a second. Last season, Jinx was good because her rockets would crit on multiple targets, and so she did a lot of damage that way. Now, Riot did something with her. They nerfed her in that respect somehow, and she doesn't do crit damage with her rockets to multiple targets. It only hits one person, and her damage is lower because of that. And so that's why you don't want to play Jinx these days. And so while I was talking, we lost another team fight. That'll happen in this elo. Nothing you can really do, except in my case, I wave cleared and kept my cool. And so we're about to, this is a whole nother team fight right here, and we're gonna win it. I'm gonna die, but I already did a lot of damage to Lulu, and so I get a lot of assists, which are better than nothing. And so the next item I'm about to buy is Liandry's Torment. And once I get that, you're gonna see my damage just go through the roof. I'm not gonna get it just yet, but I'm gonna get it pretty soon, because this is going at like 2 times speed. Also, here I'm farming a lane that isn't mid lane. There's no point in going to mid lane if like everybody's gonna go mid, and by everybody I mean like 2+ people on your team, and it's just much better to shove out a lane and then have that lane be like a time bomb. I just set up a time bomb in bot lane, and that's gonna be pushing. And here I'm about to buy Liandry's. Like, going bot got me all the CS I needed. So here's another siege of mid lane. Right now, the enemy team could be doing Baron, but instead they're like messing around in our jungle. And our support isn't doing a good job of warding. Like, the wards, he warded, but the wards need to be in Baron. But honestly, it's really good for a low silver / bronze support. It's honestly much, both supports are really good in this game, and they both do much more than like a bronze support would do. And here, like, they're not going for Baron, and they are just messing around in our jungle, and I poke them down so hard that, like, it's honestly not really worth talking about these fights, because all you have to say in the end is that they didn't go for Baron, and instead they went for like picks in our jungle, and I was warding with my blue trinket, so I started poking them down, and then we had advantageous team fights. And so somebody is going to spam a surrender vote right here. And what I want to say about that is don't just spam surrender votes, because you never know what's going to be happening. Be conscientious of when you call for a surrender vote, because Jhin died there because he was reacting to the surrender vote. And this is a bad idea. We were fine, and then this dude went crazy. We're going to lose this team fight. And also, the entire time I've been talking, like, Lissandra is like 0-8 or something. She's got a horrible record. And she's like, not only did she die to Aurelia, but she let Aurelia roam on me. Alright, I guess that was not the fight I was thinking it was, but like, we didn't need to go there. So I believe we win this. No. I think we lose. Wait. No, we lose this, and I think we come close to losing Inhibitor. Like, I think they take this turret and the base turret. Oh wait, yeah, Jhin saves us. Yeah, me and Jhin carried pretty hard. Here, Jhin goes down, but it's an even trade. Also, about the brand is pushing bottom lane the entire time. Like, don't split push as a brand or in general as a mid laner, because if you want to split push, you have to take out turrets really fast and push waves really fast and be able to escape, like Tryndamere or Zed or Nasus can't escape, but he takes towers so fast with his Q that it makes some sense. And also Jax is just like so strong of a duelist that he can split push and he can escape too. But it takes like 3 people to deal with a fully fed Jax. So anyway, we are basically about to take over the game. Yeah, I die here. But I learned my lesson finally from there. We win this team fight miraculously because Jax is a hyper-scaling champion. You give him time, and he will suddenly do crazy amounts of damage, and that's exactly what happens. He's a Jax. At about like 40 minutes into the game, Jax does crazy damage. Then they do something stupid, and they don't get a tower because they were chasing a kill. But between me and Lissandra, we can peel enough for the Jax and the Jinx, and I also happen to do a ton of damage. Like, the number of times I take Jinx below half health with like 2 spells is like at least 10 times, not 10 times, like 7 times, always at very important times. I do that to Jinx. I think I've done it like 4 already. And that's like the problem with Jinx. She's so immobile. She has no escapes. Like, for me, killing her is super easy. The same thing goes for Ashe. So yeah, here I am, wave clearing, playing to my strengths. I see them over there, I can poke them. We're about to get Baron. And like the entire time I was thinking, why haven't they done Baron? And now we're gonna take Baron and we're gonna win. I believe, yeah, I'm gonna buy my Rabadons, and that's like the end. I am so strong now, and like everybody on my team has been farming this entire time because I kept my cool. Like, even my Lissandra is useful, which is a miracle. Yeah, we get Baron right here. Alright, so we just won that team fight. They haven't been, 1, they haven't gone for Baron, which they could have gotten. 2, they haven't been playing as a 5-man team. Lee's been doing weird stuff in the jungle because they weren't using teamwork. And so here you see Vel'Koz's strength. Like, look at how much damage I just did to Jinx. I took away like 2/5 of her health. And 3, the Irelia and the Jinx should not be trying to steal this Baron or fight us or whatever they're doing, because it's just a terrible idea. And second off, like, my damage, I'm not getting the kills, but my damage is off the charts, and you'll see that at the end of the game. My damage is like really high. They literally have to add like another section to the chart just for my damage. And so yeah, now this is the beauty of Baron. Baron's been the game decider since the beginning of Season 5. And like, Baron's really strong. You honestly need like Dragon 5 or something to deal with it. Or a massive item advantage, because it forces you to cast a spell just to get rid of minions, and it's a ticket to take towers. And so yeah, don't try to 2v5 to prevent a Baron. That Baron was lost for them. And also, if your team is taking a lane, like if your team is taking mid lane, don't go do Dragon like that Jax just did. That was really stupid. Don't do that. And so what we're about to do is we are about to go push another lane with our Baron buff, which is the best thing to do. And like earlier in the game, Lissandra said something about having bad luck. That's bullshit. She's a terrible player. That's what that comes down to. No, there was no bad luck involved. Bad luck was her queuing up for top lane. So here we are in bot lane, and we're all heading there, and we've got Baron buff. That's the right thing to do. And like, after everything I just said about Lissandra, this is like the one good call she had the entire game. She says, I'll push top lane, I have teleport, you all go bot. Like here, I don't know, like our Jhin has a mini stroke or something, and him and Nautilus go top lane, even though, honestly, the perfect play for us is to go bot. And so like, me and Jax, we stay, and we push bottom lane, but they go top, and they die. Like, I think all 3 of them die, and it's really terrible, to be honest. And like, we end up having to get a second Baron buff. So like, let's watch. We're just pushing going for us, which is a really good idea. We get a pick on Brand, but they're about to be like jumped by a lot of people. I think like even Lee, no, Lee stays in bot, but yeah, now they all die. Nautilus and Jin die for sure. Yep, Lissandra dies too. That was not worth it, like, for top. We got, technically it was worth it because we got the second bot tower, but compared to what we could have done, which was going 4 bot, 1 top, it wasn't worth it because we could have taken bot lane. And now our push is basically stopped and they have time to farm. I don't know what my team's farm is, but my farm is very, very high. Like, I'm about to buy a Void Staff, and that's basically the complete build for Vel'Koz. Liandry's, Luden's, Rabadon's, and Void Staff. That is like his full build. Everything. He doesn't really need anything else. Everything else is just a bonus. And so I can't 100% remember what we do next, but this game is pretty much over. Okay, actually I'm pretty sure. Alright, what happens is, I'm pretty sure we end up going to top lane as 5. Just out of dumb luck, really. And we catch them out. Okay, yeah. So, basically, I finally get through to the team, and we push top. But we don't just push top. We set up for Baron. Baron's really important, and it's going to pop in like 3 minutes. So, we start warding, we clear a ward. What do you know? We find one. And yeah, it's nice that this Lulu is warding and everything, but she gets herself killed trying to ward. And it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen in about 20 seconds. There I am, just zoning so that my team can have superior position on the map. We've got the speed thing, we've got a ward around Baron, and here we go. These guys shouldn't have been doing that. Now look at that lineup. 1 down, 2 down. Yeah, me and Jin go to town. And it was, did you see that? How easy it was for me to kill the Jinx? She has no dashes, no escapes, no anything. So, I took her out in like 3 seconds. And the game's over now. We've won. We don't even need Baron. We are just gonna go down mid lane. Like, honestly, in games like this, I don't trust my team, and even though like we can take mid, I prefer to take top just because I am so distrusting of my team. But in this, I just go with the flow, and we get mid. We kill Aurelia. Aurelia had to do that. She had no other choice. And there you go. We win. Thanks to the magic of Vel'Koz, whom I would really recommend for low elo, because he can help you deal with your team's shortcomings, basically by wave clearing. He's the Ziggs of Season 5 and 6, I bet. He wave clears, he does damage in lane, he does a lot of damage in team fights. Okay, look at that damage dealt to champions. It's really high. Jin also did a lot, but that shows you just how much damage I did. Okay, so this was a game where everything goes wrong. My next video is going to show you just how good Vel'Koz can be in a game where everything goes right. And you see that score right there? This was the first of 8 wins. I'm like 8-2 on this account right now, after that horrible loss streak in my placements. I ended up getting placed into Silver 4. I'm getting 25 LP minimum per win. But Yeah, play to your strengths. I recommend you play Vel'Koz if you're not in Gold League yet, because he will help you deal with your team's lack of skill. He can wave clear, he can take towers, he does a lot of damage in team fights, he can poke people down, and basically if people are trying to run at you, you have an advantage because he does. To get near Vel'Koz, you have to take a lot of damage, or you have to overwhelm him like I was constantly overwhelmed in laning phase. So I hope this taught you something, and bye.